Hello and welcome to the Christchurch Fox Chapel podcast, the fastest growing conservative, evangelical, charismatic Anglican podcast in the entire Fox Chapel area. My guest today is married to me and is shaking her head at me. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, more like.
Yeah, thank me.
So we're looking this week at the widow's son and the miracle of Jesus bringing life out of death. And who will read for us, I wonder?
Who will read for us, I wonder, darling?
It'd be really helpful if you would do it.
No, because I don't know how to say that. Nine.
9.
9.
9.
9?
Yeah, 9, like the number.
All right, fine. Starting at verse 11.
Luke 7:11.
Luke 7:11. Soon afterward, he went to a town called what?
9.
9. Soon afterward, he went to a town called Nine, and his disciples and a great crowd went with him. As he drew near to the gate of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a considerable crowd from the town was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said to her, "Do not weep." Then he came up and touched the what? The bier? Bier. And the bearer stood still, and he said, "Young man, I say to you, arise." And the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized them all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has arisen among us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him spread throughout the whole of Judea and all the surrounding country.
This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks
be to God. Thank you, darling. It is 9. I was just checking, while you were reading it to make sure I got it right.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful.
So it is 9.
9.
And a bier is like a kind of stretcher or a reed mat. I guess it's the equivalent of an open coffin.
Okay.
So
it's not like a beer.
No, it's not like a beer. In our Old Testament reading as well, it's Numbers 19:11, and I might just get that up as well. Numbers 19:11. 19:11.
Just one?
It's through to 13 as well. So Numbers 19:11. This is the background to stuff about dead bodies. So, we had that reading from Leviticus the other week about leprosy and how that defiles you. This is the kind of the version to do with death. And it says, whoever touches the dead body of any person shall be unclean 7 days. He shall cleanse himself with the water on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So it's a little bit like COVID testing in Great Britain. And so be clean. But if he does not cleanse himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, he will not become clean. Whoever touches a dead person, the body of anyone who has died, and does not cleanse himself, defiles the tabernacle, the dwelling place of the Lord. And that person shall be cut off from Israel, because the water for impurity was not thrown on him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is still on him.
Pretty clear.
It's really clear.
Pretty clear that you don't do that.
It's incredibly clear, isn't it? You do not mess with the body.
Yeah.
And it's saying that there is a process to become ceremonially clean again, but it does defile you to be in contact with the body. And then I think what's really interesting is it says, he defiles the tabernacle of the Lord. So this is a sort of abomination that actually is completely unsuitable for the presence of God.
Right.
And cut off from Israel. So this cuts you out of the people of God and away from salvation.
Right.
So a body is a really dangerous spiritual thing to have around. Mm-hmm. It is possible to be restored from touching a body.
Right.
But it's a really serious problem.
Yeah.
And that's the background. So should we get into Luke?
Let's get into it.
Okay then. So Luke 7, right?
Okay.
He went to a town called Nine. His disciples and a great crowd went with him. As he drew near to the gate of the town, so Jesus is coming in.
Yep.
Jesus is coming into the city.
He's already with a great crowd.
Yeah.
And then they're meeting a great crowd.
Yes, a clash of crowds, isn't it?
Clash of crowds, yeah.
I mean, completely. So I mean, Jesus has been doing all these great things and also saying all these great things.
Right.
So he's just healed the centurion's servant, and he's given this great speech, and so there's obviously a lot of interest in Jesus' mega sermon, and then all of this miracles that have gone on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. His crowd is going to be excited, full of beans.
Yep.
And a completely horrific clash of
A different
crowds
crowd is coming their way.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The layers are built up, right? So what does it say? A man who had died and was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. So, and a considerable crowd from the town was with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is going to be really serious grief, because there's not just the loss, is there, of the son, but it's her only son.
Yeah,
And she has no
she's
husband.
a widow, so she's basically going to be cast out. She's going to be poor. She's going to have no living. Who knows what her future is, right? Because that's why it tells us both things. This was her only son.
Yeah.
She has no other lifeline.
Right.
And she's a widow. So there's no man in her life to support her, which was really, really important at that time.
Right. So
Essential.
charity,
Yeah.
living off scraps,
Right.
or worse, criminality,
Yeah.
or worse, prostitution,
Poverty,
poverty.
death, destitution, and she wasn't asking anything from Jesus.
No,
Right.
no,
We've
that's
had
right.
people sort of seek him out for things
Yeah, this is interesting.
thus far.
I almost picture it as almost cartoon-like, as in they round the same corner at the same
Right.
time, and it's like
Yeah.
crowd A and crowd B,
Mm-hmm.
ecstatic, full of grief,
Yeah.
bang right into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then not only that, but they're getting the body out of there, because they've got to get no matter what's going on in her grief, they've got to get the body out of there,
Right.
because this is just a toxic defiler of their faith.
Mm-hmm.
This thing, it's got to be out
Right.
as well, which is, so there's a huge amount going on, right?
Yeah.
And I just love verse 13.
Me too.
You can just see and hear Jesus, can't you?
Yeah. But he doesn't he's not flowery.
No.
Yeah, he's not
It's quite succinct.
Hey, don't worry. Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm actually God, so I'm gonna sort this out for you. He's just like, don't weep.
Yeah, that's right.
And he has I love that compassion word.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, that's right. He had compassion on her, which,
It's like nidzomai.
yeah,
So it's like that bowels, that gut feeling.
it's guts.
Guts, like when you see
A
someone
movement in the bowels.
suffering,
Yeah.
you are moved.
Well, do you remember that when we moved? I didn't. I was from there, but when you moved to England,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of took on that phrase that we all used to.
Gutted.
Yeah. And your mum said, "Oh,
Kat and Xander are always gutted.
yeah, that's right. To be gutted. I was gutted. I was well gutted."
Yeah, yeah. It's a great phrase.
It is a great phrase. It means to be, devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And the Greek language gives this idea that the emotions are not in the heart so much as the
Right.
lower bowels.
Right. Yeah, and I just it's so easy to just kind of flash right past that. Okay, yeah, he had compassion on her, and he said, "Don't weep," but this is her creator.
He yearned in the bowels and
Yeah.
felt sympathy and pity, was moved.
This is someone he knows is made in his image, who is
Yeah.
full of sorrow and desperation and soon to be marginalized. And this just shows, this is that foreshadowing of, and foreheading of where it says all over the
Yeah.
word that he is a God of the marginalized and the outcast and
The vulnerable.
the vulnerable
And the widow.
And so here he goes. He's just like, yeah, the things that everyone said about me, that's true.
But I think what's interesting is, we might say in the West, don't cry. And we say that because actually we're just really uncomfortable
We're
with grief.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Right,
Because if it were going to be okay and there were nothing to worry about, we'd be okay and we would not be worried.
right.
So what it really just means is, shut up, please. I can't handle
Yeah.
this. I don't know what to say.
I'm not able to know how to handle what you're going through.
Right. Right. And in a culture where mourning actually was very easy, that was a cultural norm,
Yeah.
right? I'm imagining that her crowd would have been head slapping and tearing at the sort of head and wearing clothing and that was, mourning clothing. There'd have been
Oh yeah, this was
a
very
wailing
loud
racket.
crowd.
Yeah.
And she was doing that just as much. That word it says is to wail aloud, whereas there's another word that means to cry silently.
Oh yeah, that's
So
interesting. To wail aloud.
He's in essence, he's kind of calming her down in a loving way so that she's able to see what's about to happen.
We don't need a funeral.
We don't need a funeral because the defeater of death is here.
Which we don't know initially, but then verse 14 gets into it, right? And I think this is intriguing. So he's run into her, and there's a sort of, do you know, I think like the German for like a crash is a Zusammenstoß, and I think it means like a together stop.
Yeah.
So like there's like a together stop.
Stop together.
Yeah, there's like a bang
Yeah.
together. So I'm going to call it a 50-50. Fans of Formula One will wonder my opinion of what happened at Copse with
I am just dying
Lewis
to
Hamilton
know.
and Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Racing incident, no
Yeah.
penalty required. It's a 50-50. These things happen on the track.
Zusatzeinstanzen.
There's no need for any penalties, any appeals, or anything like that. And it's just one of those things. This is the same.
Exactly.
So Lewis Hamilton, that can be Jesus, meets the lady, Max Verstappen.
I kind of prefer Max at the moment. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry,
we're not
on.
going to get into this.
No, we won't.
What he does in verse 14 is astonishing, though, because this is a corpse that defiles, so you would back off.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the cultural kind of thing, oops, I'm having a party and I've just walked into a funeral, that's very awkward, I'm going to leave.
Right.
But also, I think,
Which is why they're carrying him on the bier, because they
don't want to touch
don't
him.
want to touch anything. Like it's
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. And the beer is probably contaminated.
Absolutely.
By him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jesus gets even closer, which just seems to be really odd.
Yeah.
It says so, doesn't it? It says he touched.
He touched.
He came up and touched
Yeah.
the
So
beer.
he approached. I wonder if the crowds got silent. Like.
Yeah. And the bearer stood still. I think there is a bit of drama there.
Yeah.
A rabbi just came and fooled around with a coffin.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said.
To who?
Said to who? Yeah.
So he then starts talking to the body. Young man, I say to you. He's directly addressing the corpse. Arise.
Arise.
Arise. And the dead man sat up and began to speak. I think there's that detail there from Luke, the physician, just saying, it wasn't rigor mortis.
Right.
They didn't drop him.
Yeah.
He is alive.
Yeah. And don't you wonder, like, what he said? There's part of you that's like,
Yeah.
was he?
What's for breakfast?
What,
Ugh.
I
had the craziest
what
dream.
in the world is going on? Like, Mom, hey, who are you? You know, like, I love those little details you get to play with a little.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough, and it's a sort of not really the point anyway, but I wonder, therefore, if the man is now undefiled, and the beer is undefiled, and the people around are now undefiled.
Right.
If there's any need for any cleansing, because he's not dead.
Right.
I know he was, but I don't think the law really has anything in it for what happens if a dead person
I don't think there's
is resurrected by Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Which explains probably their response in 16. Fear seized them all. I mean, other than a dead man getting up, there's all sorts of other things that. And he gave him to his mother.
yeah, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gave her life back. He's restored her as well.
Right.
So restored her socioeconomic provision.
Yeah. He's restored her
Emotion.
socially, emotionally, psychologically. She's on the road.
Interesting that it says gave him to his mother rather than gave his mother to him.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the bit on the cross where Jesus says to Mary.
Me too. I was just thinking that.
What does he say? Woman, this is your son.
Yeah. But doesn't it say he gave him?
It says he gave his mother to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To John.
He gave his mother to John. Yeah, to
John.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So fear sees them all. What does fear mean, darling?
A fear is just fear. Fear, terror.
Really? Are there any other?
No.
As you dig into the word?
No.
Do you get anything at all?
No, I mean, there's like way down in number
Yeah.
2, it says reverence for one's husband.
So what does it say? I think the mic, there's a lot of construction
Yeah,
going outside,
it's
and I
you
don't
can
know
hear, actually.
that they would have picked that up.
And that's what it means. So, yeah, interesting. Arise, get up.
I say reverence.
Fear.
Was it reverence for your husband?
I don't, let's just.
I think that's lovely.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I think that's great. Yeah.
So reverence, really, right? Fear, but also, like,
Is it not phobos?
it is not phobos.
Ooh.
Oh, it is phobos.
It is phobos. Well, there you go. Oh, okay. It is. So,
Alarm, fright, be afraid, exceedingly fearful,
oh yeah.
terror.
Fear, dread, terror, that which strikes terror, and also reverence for one's husband. So it's nice to have both of those in there.
Yeah, of course. And they glorified God, saying,
Yeah, well, right, so they're
Yeah.
praising God immediately, right?
yeah, a great prophet has arisen among us. Little do they know.
Are they,
And
are they right or wrong? Yeah, okay.
God, they are there because they follow it with God has visited his people.
I wonder what they mean by that.
I
mean,
know.
we know what's actually true.
But did they mean a great prophet and God is working through one of his prophets?
Oh, yeah,
And
probably.
like most, they have like no idea who they're really dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. So you know how it said that the dead body would sort of defile the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
So the dead body has no place in the presence of God.
Right.
And here, what they see is that God has come to a dead body.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess God knows the rule.
Yeah, I would think since he said it,
Yeah.
he probably knows it.
And so God's breaking the rule, but in a sense, but he's bringing the tabernacle to the body.
Right. Right.
Which is fascinating. And they recognize this, that there's a visitation going on here.
Yeah. And the report spread about him. Yeah, I bet it did.
So what's revealed? I mean, what's the reveal here? Who God is and what God's like.
Yeah.
Who Jesus is.
Who Jesus is. And his ability to cut through.
Mm.
Well, it's almost a picture of what's to come, because he's almost kind of showing that the tearing of the curtain is coming with his soon to be like reveal on the cross, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because all of that stuff, all of the laws are fulfilled in him.
Yes.
And so it's that beautiful picture of who he is and what has no power when it's around him, which is like nothing. And his
Yeah.
compassion.
I think that's really important, is not only what he can do, but why would he do it?
Right.
And it was a really instant thing, wasn't it? When the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her. As soon as he saw her,
Yeah.
the instant of eye contact, he processes the scene that's in front of him, recognizes immediately that this is a crowd of grief.
Yeah.
And his motive immediately is this deep guttedness for her.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be a bit like that, can't we? When we see someone suffering,
Yeah.
do we harden our hearts and turn away, or are we just gutted?
Right.
Well, it's beautiful as an image of what Jesus does. And
Yeah.
it also reveals, doesn't it, that his plan for us is to bring life out of death.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bummer that this young man will die again. It's gonna happen again.
I don't know. I guess so. But now that he's met the resurrected Christ,
Yeah.
the hope, right, is that in these encounters with Christ,
Yes.
lives will be changed.
Right.
And therefore, death is not to be feared.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh. Gave him to his mother. I'm quoting now.
Okay. I'm listening.
These are the exact words found in the Septuagint, the Greek version of the Old Testament, in 1 Kings 17:23, describing the raising of a widow's son by Elijah. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. So actually, when you were talking about fulfilling,
Yeah.
there's a fulfillment.
Right.
So this is very deliberate, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, and I know that he did all of these things to bring glory to the Father and to demonstrate who he was to us and to those around him. But I wonder if there was some element of I don't know, a risk, but like to do something so outstanding. And what he was trying to make sure was that people weren't stopping him from his actual purpose, because everyone was crowding around him all the time to get healed, get healed, get healed, and he wasn't just there to heal.
Right.
He can't hide this. And this report about him spreads through the whole of Judea.
Yeah.
And all the surrounding country. And so he's just basically, out of his compassion and love for the widow and the marginalized and the vulnerable, he is doing something that will make his life more difficult, right? Because the more people that crowd around, the more he has to go off by himself, the more power goes out of him when he heals, the less time he has with his disciples. And so at cost to himself, he does this out of compassion.
This is something that the chosen gets so right.
Yes.
For those whose lives are just about to get massively better, The Chosen, a TV show.
Amazing TV show.
And you can just watch it on thechosen.com, I think.
Yeah, you can get an app.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It just seems a bit.
You gotta roll with the times.
I don't.
Okay?
I don't.
It's great. You can screencast it straight from your app.
I think
one
it's
of the newfangled
vulgar.
Okay. Anyway, you can watch it online, or you can.
I think the internet.
But there's an episode where he heals, and you see the physical and emotional sort of draw it takes for him to do that.
It's brilliant, and it is consistent, because I think in a passage that you're well familiar with, there's that one where it says the power went out of him.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
and I'd never really thought about that before.
But you really think about it when you watch that episode.
Because he's physically and I think spiritually and something elsely exhausted.
Right.
Right, from a day of healing.
Healing, yeah.
And he just sort of trudges, doesn't he, to his, barely able to walk, to his bed, because he's exhausted from this ministry.
Right.
So it is a good point to say that, he's going to, he's just had a radical spiritual encounter with death.
Right. And also, that's how many more people are going to now come to seek healing.
Yeah.
So.
But the reveal is that this is what God does. At cost, he raises the dead.
Yeah.
And he restores the vulnerable. And he does it for people who... So, I mean, what does this bloke contribute to his resurrection exactly?
Right. Nothing.
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 Nothing. He can't. Awesome. There's no Ben, so I don't know what we do.
No crescendo.
Just don't have one.
Just go up really, like, loudly in your voice. Say something like loudly.
Well, like, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you loudly. Thank you. There you go. Thank you for listening.
I don't know how you make the Los Yetis play.
Oh, no. Not
Yeah, it's doing its weird thing.
You could sing it for us.
I want to sing it.
That could be the crescendo.
I want to sing it at all. That'd be so weird. Whoa!
That's a crescendo. If I ever heard one.
It's the very thing you wanted. Well, you can see that we spent no money on this. This has been a podcast of Christchurch Fox Chapel. Think of all those kingdom dollars we saved by not having a proper sound guy here. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. God bless.
Bye.